So, fucking, none of this makes any sense. But whatever. Fucking, it's Kojima, right? Man, I'm so glad we beat this game. I am so glad we beat this game. Shenmue now, Shenmue later. We need to talk about how shitty this game is, alright? I thought when I beat this game, I would feel a little bit better about it because let's break it down here, right? This game isn't really a video game at all, is it? This is not. I don't think this game was intended to be a game. I don't think Kojima ever wanted you to play this as a game. He wanted you to have a story, and he probably had some mechanics that he thought were cool, but he didn't have a game. You know what I mean? I don't think he had a game. And so when he came up with all this other shit, he cobbled it into a product and called it a game. He just called it a game and said, I don't know what genre this is. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know the genre. I have no clue what's going on. I just made something. I sat on the toilet and shat something out and said, this looks like something I would like to make. And then he worked with it and poof. And then that explains why he gets all these articles about how the game doesn't have a genre. And he's like, I have to reinvent a genre. I'm going to invent a new genre. It's going to be not a genre that's been done before. And it's like, yeah, because you literally didn't make a game. You made something else and cobbled game elements onto it. Like attached game elements to a concept that is not a video game property. That's why it's not a genre. And so that's where you get these articles. I'm making a new genre. No, you're not making a new genre. You're just making something that's not a video game. And then you're putting little video game shit to it. Ridiculous. Yeah, right. No devs. I'm not sure. I guess it has to be that. It has to be that Kojima just doesn't do certain things right. He's an idea man. And he's good at executing his ideas and getting them out there. But he needs somebody who actually is like, needs a real developer, right? Who's just like, you gotta make a game. You gotta make a game. You're not making a game. You're just making a bunch of shit and throwing it into a Blu-ray disc. You can't do that. He needs someone to rein him in, you think so? Maybe it's something like that. But here's the thing. I really like, even with this ending, I was interested in the story. And this ending is pretty trash because that's a huge, like, how is this baby Sam thing working out right now? How is this a real thing? That is confusing the hell out of me, but maybe somebody else could explain it later. But right now, it feels like it ain't a thing. It feels like it's just, it's unexplained. How could Sam be himself in the future? Is time reciprocal? Because I don't think it is. So it's fucking, even with an ending like that, I really enjoyed how mysterious, and I enjoyed unraveling the mystery. I really liked the steps that the story was taking. It was really drawn out, but I think that's mostly because of what I really want to shit on. That's the gameplay. Because he had a story and an idea, and then maybe he had some mechanics he wanted to fuck around with, that's what he wanted you to focus on as the game. He wanted you to enjoy that aspect of it. So that alone, though, just having a few ideas and scrapping together a story with those ideas, that doesn't make a game, right? He needed something substantial to fill in all the game requirements so that he can put it on a PS4. And I think he came up with this walking delivery service as the only thing he could come up with. I honestly think that he had all these other ideas, and he was like, okay, I got all this other stuff. I am now limited in terms of what I can do to make the game play as. I can't make the game play a certain way because I have all these ideas and all these other things that I want it to go along like that. What else can I do? What can I do? How do I make a game out of all these other parts that I've already created? I can't. I have to make him a delivery boy and have him walk all over the place because that's the only way it doesn't break all these other ideas that I really want to put in the game. To me, that is what this game screams. is that he had ideas and not a full-fledged game idea. He just had ideas for stuff, and then he ended up throwing it all this other stuff on top of it. He tried to cobble together his ideas and then make an actual thing out of it. But the only thing that came out was walking around from one point to the next. I think that really fucks it up. I think that's where it all falls apart. It had some cool ideas and it even had some reasonable execution, right? It's a AAA title. The guy had a lot of money. So the execution wasn't really at fault. It's just the basic underlining tone of move from this spot to this spot, all right? That's it. You're going to go from here to here and deliver the cargo. You've got tripping all over the place. You got terrain and you got weather that's going to be kind of fucking things up, and you got some randomly popping around enemies that you want to avoid. You want to stealth around, so there's a little bit of that. So it's a surface level thing. It's all surface level stuff is the problem. There's no depth. There's no interesting mechanics at play. There's no interactability. You really are just holding forward on your directional on the joystick. You're just holding forward, and there's really not a whole lot else you got to do. Like it's and then the thing is there was some interesting aspects with like the legs, the robot legs, the power glove. It would have been really awesome if you could have had like a whole cybernetic suit that let you fly around a jetpack or something like that. Really interesting stuff. You know what I mean? But he didn't do that. That would have broken the game, because somehow you had to have that threat level of the BTs. And I was at first enjoying stealthing around those things, but then later it just became so tedious because there's just nothing else happens except trying to duck those fucking ghosts. That's it. That's all you do. There's nothing else happens. It literally is like taking Skyrim and saying that the main fun of Skyrim was walking around the world where maybe once in a while you'll get jumped by a bandit. And that's it. You get jumped by a bandit, maybe you stumble across a little Civil War action where the guards are fighting, something else, Eldari Dominion, or maybe Stormcloaks and the whatever are going at it. Maybe you'll get some of that. But in Skyrim, you largely don't. And when you walk around and you try and do stuff in that game, it's largely an empty vessel. There's not a lot of random events that pop in. The main thing of Skyrim is going to locations, grabbing a quest, and going to do it. This game takes all those quests out. It doesn't replace the walking around stuff with anything interesting. So you really are just walking around delivering shit. And everything that can happen is just really downplayed. And it's kind of cool that you can have an easier trip because of everybody else's stuff laying around. I like that. I thought that was a cool idea. Again, that's probably the core idea that he had, that he wanted to make a game out of. And when he put that idea first, before everything else, it ended up being just that. That was the only thing that you could really walk away from. It was like, okay, that's a cool mechanic. What else you got? Nothing. I got nothing else. I just want you to enjoy everybody else's stuff. And that's it. And the only way for you to enjoy everybody else's stuff is to walk around and make that the only thing you can do, is getting from point A to point B with nothing happening in the middle. Maybe you'll find some mules, maybe some BTs in your way, but don't kill anybody because then everything will blow up a few hours later. Like, I get it. But it really does not make a good game. It's not a good game. It's not a good video game. It's a cool story. It's a pretty fine... If you're even into this sort of a thing, like, that's the thing, like, there are some people who are down to, like, hiking simulator, Walking simulator has always been a bit of a joke. But I honestly believe this is a walking simulator game. Like, okay, we got more happening. Alright, let's go ahead and save so that I can keep talking shit about this game. Man, it's so fucking nice to hit that off my shoulders. I don't even care if there's anything else to do. I'm not interested. So, fucking, what were we talking about? The whole story. The story was the only thing that kept me going. I'm going to have to two-part this review. The story was the only thing that kept me interested. And honestly, I was interested. I liked the concept. Everyone was dying. There was a whole nother place, and there was a crossover going on. I'm like, okay, cool. I did not expect it to go into that mass extinction thing. I was not expecting that. That was pretty cool, but at the same time, it also felt a little overreaching because it was like, what killed the dinosaurs? The mass extinction, the ending result of whatever extinction event, and then it just kept going, and then at the end, it was just like basically just saying the cosmos hates humanity and is trying to destroy it, so that everything returns to emptiness or whatever she said, nothingness. At first I was like, oh wow, that's cool. He's tying it to all this weird random shit in the history. And then she's just like, the cosmos hates people and wants to kill everybody. That's where it kind of started to lose me. It's like, okay, okay, that's how he's going to explain it. Because everything else was really nice and mysterious. And it was just weird, and I didn't know where things were going. And I liked how it was unveiling all the information. It was a really neat process, story-wise. If I can clip out all the gameplay and just focus on story, I liked how it went. That's easily this game's only aspect that really brings out the quality of the game, is how the story paces out and does all that stuff. Unfortunately, it's a video game, and so we have to address the fact that walking around is not fun. It's not a fun thing to do. Hiking simulator, you can't make that interesting. You can't make it interesting in this way. You can't do it. Like, I appreciate and did think it was cool to share everybody's shit. But, but there's a problem here too, in that, like, all these zip lines that I have are randomized because I'm connected to random people, and so these zip lines don't work. I have to build the zip lines and have the zip lines work, but why would I bother when I can just go do the mission, right? Obviously, building stuff to help people out is the objective of the game as a video game. That's the objective, is to build stuff to help other people do stuff. Well, what is the other stuff people are doing? Probably the story, trying to beat it, right? Well, once you beat the game, why do you want to go back and build more stuff? Just to help people out that haven't beaten the game yet, right? Sure, all right, but that's not a very compelling thing. I mean, there's not a whole lot of progress there. It's kind of whatever, right? And then while I'm trying to beat the game and taking advantage of all these other guys who are making all this shit, I only get to make advantage of half of them. So then I got zip lines that go nowhere. You know what I mean? It's like, what? Why is a zip line here? And then it entices you. It's like, hey, here's a zip line right over here. Go check it out. And then you spend some time, you get there, it's not connected to anything. Then you just wasted a trip. It's so fucking weird. The question is if you are rewarded for building. I mean, no, not really. You're not really rewarded other than, I mean, the reward, like, look at the pavement stuff, right? The highway. You can build a whole road that connects all the way across the first chunk of that area there, right? And I took advantage of that, and it was great. But if I beat the game and I start raising that road, why? Why am I building the road for myself? I gotta get something out of it too. Like, why am I building it for other people? Well, it doesn't really help. But there's not much reward for me out of it. Like, I kind of get it, Good Samaritan thing, but I'm playing a video game here. I'm supposed to be building something for me as well. If building is rewarding, then you don't have a bunch of pre-built stuff because you don't need to build. Exactly. If it isn't rewarding, or it is rewarding, you don't have to build a pre-built stuff. Right. If it isn't rewarding, why would people go back to build? And the thing is even if people do really enjoy the building aspect, if they do like the connecting and helping people out, you're only going to get half of what you need, or less. You're only going to connect to certain people at any time. And I don't know if it's randomly connecting every time you quit the game or load or anything. I don't know. I don't understand what it is. But sometimes you will create a network, an interface of things. You will connect a bunch of stuff, but half of it will be there when you're connected to the guy, and then the other half won't be, and it'll be gone. I think you could dedicate your world to certain people by having contracts with other porters that allows you two to force sync and stay in sync together. I think that's an option in the game that I totally blew over because I don't give a fuck about any of it. But as a guy who's just trying to play the game, it's really frustrating to even think of the notion where I'm going to build like 5 different zip lines and half of them are not going to work on any given boot up of the game because I'm not connected with the other people who already made those things. You know what I mean? Like, that really is upsetting. And so, but it's also just that's even assuming I have any fun building those in the first place. I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for someone else who's just trying to get through the story, which obviously you don't need that stuff to do it, but it makes it quicker. It makes it funner because you get to invalidate the gameplay, and the gameplay is walking around everywhere. Isn't that really self-defeatist? Your game is about walking around everywhere. The cool feature you have for your game is building stuff for other people to use so that they don't have to walk around everywhere. What? Wait a minute. I thought walking around was the cool thing. No, actually, taking shortcuts that other people build is the cool thing. The walking around part, not so cool. But all you do is walk around and try and use other people's stuff and get pissed when you can't. It's a little bit odd in that respect. A little bit odd. It just, in general, what it ends up being is that you largely do use your own stuff. You don't even really use your stuff. What it really comes down to is that you use a bike as much as possible. And I, honest to God, feel like I invalidated certain encounters with BTs because I just blew right through the middle of it, or I blew right past all the mules. So even with the little things that can happen here and there, you can just invalidate it completely by building your own motorcycle and zip it through. I think there's trucks and shit in the game. I didn't do any side shit, so there's a million things that you could still do in the game that I wouldn't even bother because it's like, I'm good. You know, I did everything I wanted. I was able to just zip through on a bike. And a bike is default, and it's like, wow, okay. So, just as a game, this is not good. As a video game, a full-fledged package, $60 product, it's not good. What's up, Tulid? Yeah, I totally just beat it. It's over. 5.5 hours. 5.5 hour stream. It's done. I have sucked so much Kojima dick. I really did. And, you know, I honestly did it because I appreciate Metal Gear Solid a lot. I think Kojima can do a great job. I think he can do a great everything. This game really showcases his creativity, and I like that. It really is a hugely creative, on his part, game. But the thing is I really shouldn't say it's a creative game. I should say it's a creative product of Kojima. But it's not really a game. It really isn't much of a game at all. It really is walking around delivering stuff. Tulud, I gotta ban you really quick. Hang on. How do I stab you again? Ban user, timeout user. Bam. There we go. You spoiled the fucking story, you asshole. You told me Sam was the baby. Like, you told me that on stream 2. Fucking, I'm on stream 9 now. And Sam was the baby. I actually don't know if Sam was the baby. That's just what we were thinking it was. Anyways, it's good to see you this morning. Yeah, so this game is all about walking from point to point, and it's not very good as a game. Like, it's kind of cool to hike around, and the thing is you can find people that really will enjoy this aspect of the game. This is the thing that's most frustrating about being a guy who plays games and sharing my games with people. On my end and on your guys' end, we're here happy to shit all over walking on this game, right? It is a walking simulator, and that's all it is, and we are happy to shit on it. But we've had dudes come into the chat who are like, I really like this game. I like walking around, I like climbing the mountain, I like going through the snow, I like this game. It's got a great atmosphere. It's got a great ambience. I like building shit that other people use. And it's just like, I get that you like it. I could see how that can be fun. But just as a whole product, this is just not a proper video game. This is a cool collection of ideas that roughly come together to form an experience. but it's not a video game. It's not a video game that you can really sink your teeth into, that you can really interact with. There's just not much interactability at all. Nice angry review, nerd. Again, it's just so frustrating. It's frustrating because it is a good example of how different everybody's tastes is. But we gotta get in line with, like, because if people really take this game, what if future developers are like, all right, that Death Stranding game did pretty good, Kojima, maybe I'll take that. I would be devastated. I would be devastated if there was more games like this. I would be devastated. I wouldn't want to see more games like this. I like the story. I like the way that the story was told and all that shit. I don't want to see this game or anything like this game ever again. The whole sharing of stuff, sure, that's a fine mechanic. Put it in something that actually is a video game. Put it in something where I can repeatedly enjoy doing it, Make it an actual feature of the game. Don't just make it a mechanic that exists. You really love that dumbass ginger boss where I was slugging it out in the tar. Oh my god, that shit was so awesome. It was so bad it wrapped around to being good. The thing is it's all an homage to Metal Gear Solid 4. I keep saying Mortal Kombat 4. Metal Gear Solid 4 had the exact thing for the boss fight with Snake and Revolver Ocelot. But that shit worked. Liquid Snake, actually. It was in the body of Ocelot. The thing is that worked really well because they are established characters that we all fucking love already. And so seeing them duke it out and getting all tired and old man on each other was awesome. In this one, it was just silly. I didn't even really care about Higgs or anything. Like, the guy is just whatever. The guy is whatever. He's just a dude in the game, and that's it. Nothing important or special. That's it. And yet we had this really big, like, emotional, visual, punching and shit. And it's just like, none of this has any real impact to me because I don't know who this Norman Reedus guy is, Sam. I don't know who this Higgs guy is. I don't know what all this tar is doing all over the place. It's just bogus. But because it was an homage to when it was done better, I couldn't help myself but enjoy it. I couldn't help myself. It was so bad, it wrapped around to being good. This isn't Norman Reedus Revengeance. No, it's not, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's just Kojima barfing into a video game. This is Kojima's brain barfing onto a Blu-ray disc and putting it into a PS4. It has really good presentation, though. I'll give it up for that. I mean, it looks beautiful. It's got... the way the baby operates, the detected BTs and stuff, it has a cool collection of really light mechanics, but none of it comes together to form an actual video game. It truly, truly is a walking simulator. And in a really funny way, that kind of is creating a genre, because a lot of times people use walking simulator as a joke. I think this game actually is a walking simulator. I think as a real genre. I'm not even saying walking simulator derogatorily. I am saying that is a good way to describe this game. Because it encapsulates what you're going to be doing. And yet it's not saying that it's trash. It's just saying that is what you're going to do. You are going to walk around everywhere. You're just going to walk everywhere. You're going to grab a bike, and then you're going to bypass some of that walking, and that's going to feel good. You're going to have some zip lines sometimes. That's going to feel good to bypass the walking. But you're going to get stuck in the middle of somewhere, and it's going to be fucked up. So what Goodreads rating when you give this garbage? Stop, it's trash. So I really like the story, though. I mean, the story got me. Even with this trashy, hokey ending, like... It had a really cool thing going for it until the whole, like, baby thing kicked in. Almost as bad as Tekken. Yeah, right? I'd say that's about right. The story mode in Tekken. I'd say it's about story mode Tekken quality. No. Come on now. Tekken's not bad, except the story is miserable in Tekken. That's true. But here's the thing. I would say that this is not a good game, like, in a general sense. I would say as a video game, this is like a, I don't know, 3 out of 10. I don't even know what I would say this. This is just, would I spend $60 on this game? No. I would not spend $60. I rented this game, and that's going to go right back. This is a movie that takes a long time to get through. It's a movie with a lot of downtime. And I know a lot of times people say that with shit like God of War or Uncharted, any of the Uncharted. But, like, Uncharted at least has you moving and attacking and having a lot of fun. You know what I mean? God of War is interactive. You're throwing an axe and shit. So, yeah, there's a shitload of cutscenes. But when you're actually playing the game, you're engaged. You're just not engaged in this one. You're just... This was a real test of being a streamer, okay? This was a huge test because I had to come up with entertaining things while all we did in the game was move around from place to place. That's it. I had to entertain you guys when this was that boring. This was like a monumental task as a streamer. Because as a streamer, I rely heavily on the game being interesting enough to keep you guys wanting to hang out. And then at the same time, you get to hang out with me. I'm the cherry on top of the streaming cake. But in this case, the cake was made out of the weird tar that we're looking at on screen right now. The cake was made out of weird Death Stranding tar. And I was still the cherry on top of that shitty, tarry cake. So it was a real test. It was an absolute test of how to be a streamer when you've got a horrible game on stream. I feel like I did a pretty good job. Got a few subs, got a few donations, you know. I guess I did all right. Yeah, I could do better, but still. Bloodstain was a better former Konami game. Yeah, I'd say definitely it was. Yeah, Bloodstain was definitely better. Bloodstain, definitely better than Death Stranding. I hate saying that because I really don't like Bloodstained either. Here's the thing. The best way to describe Death Stranding is, would I advise this game for anybody to play? If anybody who plays video games on a light level, lightly plays games, it plays Halo, Call of Duty, or fucking they pick up the latest Call of Duty every when it comes out, or maybe they're FIFA players or something. You know, the people who don't really play games, would I advise this game at all to those people? I wouldn't. I wouldn't advise this at all. This would not even be a title that momentarily would I consider. It's not for them. This is not a game that they would enjoy. And right then and there, you're cutting out a huge swath of people who play games. Of you know, the market. The market has tons of people that just play FIFA, right? You can sometimes get them tantalize them a little bit with Smash or something. You know, you fucking got Terry Bogard in Smash. Okay, now you can get, you know, there's little things like that can bring people in. You know, Zelda. Okay, cool, Zelda. You know, people who play FIFA, yeah, they probably play Zelda. But this is just, there's nothing there for them. There's no interactability. There's no game here. That's just so... It's really like go fetch 10 bear butts in an MMO, but rather than going out and killing the bears, getting their butts and bringing them back, you're really just walking to the bears and then giving the bears something. The bears give you something in return, and then you walk back and give that something to whoever told you to leave. So you're not even collecting any bear butts. There's no combat or anything that you really have to engage in. You can just go. Nobody knows who Terry is? Fuck. I love Terry Bogard. He's looking so good in that game, too. It's incredible. It almost makes me want to get a Switch. But fuck that. I'm not going to. So that's how I'm viewing this game. How do I suggest this? Who do I suggest this game for? Who the hell is this game for? Well, if you're one of those guys, I honestly don't think we have any of those in chat. I don't think we've ever had anybody in chat in this stream, in the history of this stream, anybody who would have this line of thought. But if they exist, I don't think they come here, but if they exist, otherwise, people who really believe, morons, people who believe in, like, art over everything else. If they feel like it's really like, do you believe games can be art? This is probably more along that line of thought. You know, you're not going to be playing a lot, but you're going to be expanding your mind. You're going to be taking in considerations. You know, you're going to be kind of tour de force along the way. You know, this isn't an Avengers movie. This is like The Watchmen or some shit. You know what I mean? You're going to have to process in your brain what's happening in the story in order to follow along. This is art. This is art. This is the only type of thing. If somebody asked me to sell you Death Stranding, I would have to say, do you believe in a person's art? And I did. I believe Kojima's art. I believe he could make art. I believe he could make video games as art. I feel like Kojima, out of everybody, could definitely come up with an artistic piece. Well, he did. And he did a great job of the story, and he delivered in pretty much every way I would think a Kojima could do. It's just his gameplay was absolute trash, and this is not a video game. This is an art piece or something. It's just a bizarre art piece to me. That's the only way I could sell it to someone. And then even at that, I'd be like, get a big, hefty discount. You know, pay fucking $30 for this thing. If you really, really want to play it, get it for $30. Personally, it's $20-$25 that shit. You know, just fucking... I didn't spoil shit, by the way, what the ending is, but predictable. So the game does seem to heavily suggest that Sam is the baby. But the problem is that I have yet to understand how this time shifting allows this to occur. Because Sam is born. If Sam is the baby and everything, then he is interacting with himself inside that little baby thing. And it doesn't make any sense. Apply Milkinson as magic and a Time Lord. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I guess? Magic and a Time Lord? Like, it's so... I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, somehow when the chick sends Sam as a baby back into the waters, somehow she brought him back in time so that he could discover himself as a baby. I guess that's what that is. This is the only moment, but he wasn't. That's the thing. Like, he was when she finds him dead on the beach. He couldn't interact with anything. No. Not when he was. So, except Magic Captain. Not that part. So when he is when the Magic Captain gets shot and the baby falls out of the container and dies, the baby washes up onto Death Stranding. On the shore of where the red dressed chick walks over and revitalizes the baby. Theoretically, Sam is that baby. And then Sam, when she throws Sam back into the water, my understanding was that Sam instantly comes back to life. But that's not the case. What must have happened is that when she threw him in the water, he came out at a later period in time. Or maybe backwards in time or something. So that when she threw him in the water and then he came out to the other side, there was some sort of time fuckery there so that he can meet himself as a baby inside the container. So it's like Sam 1 went ahead, Sam 2 came up later. I'm not saying that this is like, oh, no, of course. No, it's not a, oh, of course thing here. I'm just trying to say in this magic land of time fuckery, that's the only way I could see time being fucked with to make some sort of linear sense in concept of time. But that's it. That's really it. And honestly, it's as much bullshit as fucking anything else I've heard to explain how he could be the baby. It just doesn't make any sense either, any way you look at it. But maybe somebody else could explain it better. I don't know. All I know is the story is the only thing this game has to sell on. It's just that. The whole hiking simulator, even if you're a fan of walking around and hiking and yeah, you're going to have some fun. Grabbing the bike feels great, you know, because you can invalidate all the walking and you can fucking zip through shit and everything. And you get these legs, you can put your pants on and they're powered and you can fucking walk around everywhere even better than you did before. And, like, you get these cool power gloves and shit. I wish there was more of that. But even if you are enjoying that aspect, I'm guaranteeing you at some point you're going to get bored. You're going to get bored. You're just going to get bored because it doesn't go far enough. You don't have, fat mech Norman Reedus. I would have fucking loved Mech Warrior Norman Reedus. You know, I would have loved it, especially because apparently Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries is, I guess, trash or something. But fucking, it would have been great if you could have cyborged up Norman Reedus's butt cheeks, you know, enhance that ass with some cybernetics or something. Just have like an exoskeleton power suit, you know? And just give me rocket boots so I can fucking jump and fly. Just, you know, all that wacky, fun shit that should be in the game. But it's just not. It's just not there. Clapping the cyborg cheeks, man, I swear. It's just not there. So, like, even if you like this hiking stuff, eventually you're just going to get fucking tired of it. I was so tired of hanging up with my bike, getting stuck on fucking rocks and shit, man. Little tiny rocks, I'm just bam, bam, bam. It was, Ugh. I'm glad this is the last the Stranding stream. Yeah, I'm glad it's over, man. I'm glad it's over, too. I'm so relieved. Oh, I'm happy I beat it, too. You realize it's such a test, man. There's so many people can't beat this game. And yet I did. I did. This is a real testament of my streamer capabilities to even entertain as many of you as I did. It's just so wild. The 80-hour deep dive of Death Stranding. Yeah, right? I think we've gone on for 30 minutes. You know, this is such an amazing thing. Fuck that. I'm not... That's like going into Dark Souls lore or something like that. You gotta go to YouTube and read up on that shit, you know. Fuck that. There's no way I could go through all that. But it's Kojima, right? This is such a huge thing. Kojima's a huge name, and this is a major title, and it was impossible for me not to try and get into this game and beat it. It was impossible. I owe Kojima's dick that much. I had to suck that dick all stream. I had to. He made Metal Gear Solid, man. It was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot, man. It's easily one of my favorite series. It's just so good. I had to give the guy a shot. Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe he put some fucking paint tube in his ass and squeezed it out on a canvas, and then Death Stranding. That's how he came up with it. Maybe that's what he did, all right? I get you. Yeah. I still had to play it while sucking his dick. It didn't change the fact that he did something amazing once before, that I had to give this game a real run-through and finish it. And now that I have, I feel like this game was harder than Sekiro. I feel it was harder than Dark Souls, man. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. This was the hardest thing I've ever done. Not playing it, but streaming it. This is the hardest game I've ever streamed ever. I can't recall a harder... Usually if a game is this bad, stream-wise, I trash it. You know, I trash it. If I can't make something happen, it gets trashed. Worst case scenario, it gets fucking banned. You know, Star Wars Buttfront 1 and 2, both of them were banned from the stream because of chat. But this one, I couldn't allow that to happen. I had to get through it, you know, and I did. And that really makes me feel all kinds of good. Can't wait for Star Wars to get flushed. That better not get flushed. I swear to God, I'm gonna be pissed. I have so much hope for that game. Man, what else? What else can we talk about before we fucking get this game out of here for good, huh? I don't think there's anything else I missed. I missed Conan O'Brien. I missed all the... Yeah, that's the other thing, right? This game had fucking actual actors, like actual people in the real world. This was such a huge thing, you know? Moviegoers and Norman Reedus and shit. Totally didn't even see Conan O'Brien give me a fucking otter hat or anything, you know? He was the guy who helped the cosplayer chick. I actually came across that, by the way. I did come across the shelter for the cosplayer. If I had done that quest line, I would have gotten Conan O'Brien. But fuck that shit. I won't bother. Yeah, it's like, this is such a milestone game in terms of that stuff, right? Like, you've got all these actors and shit. But it's just not a game. It's not a game, man. It's fucking, you're walking around. And so many people came in the chat and said shit like, are you really walking around? Do you really just deliver things? Is that it? That can't be it. You know, people were they were flabbergasted. They're like, I'm in here and I want to see you do something. All you've done is deliver goods. Like, what's going on? What happened? And I'm just like, there's nothing else to do. Like, that's what the quest is to do. The quest says to take this, go there. and then take that thing and go back there, fucking, and then watch Norman Reedus's butt cheeks and a baby pop out of nowhere. You know, it's like that's it. That's all there is to it. That's the game. People were flabbergasted. They're like, I can't believe that. And that's not a game. And I'm like, yeah, it ain't a game. Like, it's not a game. Yeah, we had people come in who were also like, I fucking love this game. The atmosphere is amazing. I love climbing mountains, and I love being able to grab stuff and leave things for people. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm just like, man, what happened to you? What do you do with games? How do you get through the video gaming world if you really like this game? How did you make it this far? You know, how did you make it this far? I love the shitty music. God, how would it just pop up out of nowhere? Oh, man. And who the hell came up with these tunes, man? Like, this is Kojima's iPad, his fucking iPod or something? Just pulled it off his MP3 player or something? It's wild. This whole game was wild. I don't know. How did he get anybody even be a part of it and shit? Like, I'm glad I'm getting all this out now, because I swear, later, the only thing I'm going to really take away from this game is how much I enjoyed the story. That's it. New Kojima was soft. Fucking... I'm going to think a lot more of this game once I'm away from it. When I'm actually not playing it anymore, I'll be like, the game wasn't so bad. The game's alright. It's not so bad. You know, it's alright. I'm going to be like that, because all I'm going to think about is the story and how much I liked getting along on the story. I really do. I really liked it. It was a nice mystery. I couldn't really figure out what was going on. Yeah, there was a chance that he would be the baby, but we didn't even figure that out until the very last section of the game. And even then, we were still like, is that really the case? Maybe something else happened. You know, maybe something else has happened. I'm not sure. Let's talk about Shenmue. Yeah, all right. Death Stranding. Get fucked, Death Stranding. You guys can watch me actually delete this shit.